Hello, let's look at, will Congress receive the Epstein files? Will the orange one pardon Gislaine? I don't want to say the name. I said it. Okay. Is and owning a president. We talk about there are some things that MAGA got right. When you do a conspiracy theory, and some conspiracy theories are truth coming out because a lot of what we are told and taught is not true. We are programmed, we are fed information, and through religion or news media or whatever, to believe certain things. And sometimes those things are not true. But with conspiracy theories, there are usually some truth in what happened, and to get people to start to buy into really what happened with the whole thing. And so here's what I'm seeing is that American presidents have been owned. Why didn't Obama go far enough? That was one of I really liked him, but I felt like, why didn't you go all the way? Why? Because he was held back. So is there truth to billionaires, people at the top who are hidden in the shadows that may have been involved with and he had a lot of money and blackmail and in government and in the Israeli government. So that is not a conspiracy. That is known. Okay. So could they then come in? So we have lobbyists, we have people who make donations, we have the Supreme Court that said you can give, anonymously to campaigns. So is the American presidency bought and sold? Are American presidents owned, or do some people, attempt to extort them or threaten them? Yeah. And so in that way, I believe there are billionaires that pull the strings, that are behind the shadows. Some are out front, but this is the whole thing. Now, I don't believe that there are any current young girls or teenagers being abducted in the United States by this group that is kind of fallen apart, but still in other places, if that makes sense. But is there big business? Is the current president involved with billionaires and this whole Project 2025, a really dark, evil agenda by these people? That's what it is. So you can call it what you want. I don't believe in QAnon. I think they're off. But there is some truth to what they know or what they're saying or what happened with and that whole thing he had going on with uh, the felon, the orange felon, with beauty pageants and being connected to very wealthy people, and what I call her, I'll call her Lane, okay, because I don't want to keep saying her name and get the algorithms for stuff, even though I probably am anyway. But we'll just um, so she's a very predatory, dangerous person that helped facilitate and groomed all these teenagers. These aren't actually pedophiles, which would have been younger children. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen or didn't happen, and it might be happening in some countries in the world. But I feel like more what's happening now, and this is what the felon was involved with, is like blackmail and bribery and paying people off and making, dark money and making deals. So he's not actually the current felon in the White House. Was, and everybody knows they were friends. He was friends with that, and they say, "Oh, I threw him out when I found out he was not a good guy." That's I don't believe that. I believe that he is dirty and he's been doing these deals, not so much as you would call like a pedophile, which is really with younger children. I mean, maybe not technically, but still illegal. 14-year-olds or under 18 is illegal. But I don't feel like because he's a germaphobe or just because the way he is, I don't feel like he actually was in these parties or on the plane or on the island, engaging in activities with these young girls or children, but so much is maybe sorry to say this, I don't know if I can say this, a BJ. Okay. So there is evidence coming out that he would get a BJ because remember, he's a germaphobe. He's more like a peeping Tom, and he admits that. He admits at beauty pageants going in to inspect and getting a free, peep at the contestants. So I feel like he was more like in the business of getting these girls and and had that Mar-a-Lago is a place where he could attract young women, and then he would allow weird sex stuff to happen there or at the parties, or he would go to the parties. But I don't believe he actually. Well, let's ask the cards. Did he actually do the whole? We'll call it the home run. Did he do the whole thing? Well, with Melania, he did because Melania was sex trafficked. She's one of the girls that he met through F. So, I mean, but he married her. So is that illegal? Is that wrong? Probably she was of age. Unless they lied about her age, which I don't think so. But so, I mean, let's ask, did he ever do the full with the children at the or the young girls at the full thing? Um, Maybe not so much. Not maybe got close to it. I mean, is there a difference? I mean, it's still abuse. And I really want to talk about the victims. I am a survivor. I don't haven't told my story online, and I may do that someday. But I am a survivor of from a neighbor down the street when I was 11 or 12, with a 40-year-old, 42-year-old, whatever. I thought it was my first date. I didn't understand. No one explained to me, about the birds and the bees. And then later on, I was involved in, I was married to somebody who was in a criminal outfit, and you could call it technically, I was sex trafficked. I've been locked in closets. I've been beaten. So I have a history that I haven't told people about because I didn't feel like there was a need. If I've dealt with all that with therapy and energy healing and stuff. And sometimes when you have spiritual gifts, kind of like the dark energy will come after you. And that was part of my path or whatever. But that happened to me so that I can help other survivors. I don't call them victims, I call them survivors. And so that's part of what I do in my personal practice. And I've worked with many people. I do think that therapy is excellent. There's also an energetic component where, as a shaman and an energy healer, I can see the dark side. Like if you believe in angels and guides and God or whatever, you also, uh, it would make sense to believe that there are also darker energies here or reptilian energies here, which is a whole nother video and a whole nother thing. And I don't want to get too far out there here, but when I go in and I clear this energy from people, and as I have for myself, I remove these darker entities because no human would do that to another human. No human would do that to another child unless they were being influenced by these dark spiritual energies. And I don't really deal with that work anymore. I'm more about, which I feel is like the healing for this is to be ethical and to be truthful and to be in the light and to be loving and to be compassionate and to help people heal on this planet. So this has been going on since the beginning of time and in other worlds before this with the dark and the light. So it's not religion. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about the beings of light, the children of the light, the ones that are here, that you are, the star seeds, the angels, the chosen ones, whatever you want to call yourself, that are here, are just good people. Sometimes the most spiritual people that I meet, they're not even considered, they would never see a psychic. They were just like, or maybe once in a while, but they don't consider themselves spiritual, because I've met some real spiritual a-holes. Sorry that, flip their, I'm a vegan, yoga, whatever. Just, so what? So what? Who are you? Who are you? How are you treating yourself and others in this life? And what, so that's a whole nother video too. But so back to what I was talking about. They got some of it right. There is something going on, and you don't see that in the mainstream media. They kind of cover that up. They're like, well, they want to keep it just okay, so let's keep it just about Ep and the S abuse, and then can we make it also about blackmail and money and buying offices and billionaires controlling things. Yes. Okay. So there's also other connections here. There's connections with other countries, because there have been some Israeli diplomats that were implicated and it will come out when the file, if and when the file comes out, and that's what we're dealing with right now. But it's already known. We already know that there are other governments involved, and this has to do with war. These are the same people that are pushing war, and I wanted to talk about that, the starvation that's going on, the genocide that's going on in Gaza. These are the same people. Maybe not the exact same people, but it's the same darkness, the same evil, the same that is now, that just like we lived through in the 40s with the concentration camps, that's happening. And you see this current felon in the White House he's very focused on prisons and scaring people and locking people up and getting rid of anyone who's not, white, or with, and controlling women and all this. They're all about that. So it's all kind of like the same thing. But what makes this so important now is that finally some of the MAGA base is going like, wait a minute, what happened? Why, I thought you were going to get the cabal, the evil people. Huh. And that must be a hard pill to swallow when you realize that the guy that you thought was going to save you is part of the cabal. So that's, but that's what's happening now. We are waking up as a planet, and we can do this. We can heal this. We can have a planet without war, without famine, without abuse like this happening. We can have this. We are going in that direction. But remember, we are coming into Aquarius, the planet, the Uranus, power to the people. Okay. And we may look at these magazines, yeah, and be at a protest someday and go like, wait a minute, you're here? I heard another psychic. Actually, it was Susan Lynn who said that. Like, you're here? Yeah, we actually need them. Some of them, not the ones that are, want to, kill people, or they're prejudiced or something, or they're just too hateful. But a lot of them really are just regular people that got, snookered, that got lied to and believe this stuff. Because when these billionaires use money to, starve people out, pressure people, you're getting squeezed financially. Then you want to look for, okay, who's doing this? And they'll say, oh, it's those immigrants. It's those gay people. They're wrong. That God is punishing you because the gays, or these kind of crazy. They try to turn us against each other. And I know that people watching this, maybe you want to hate them, but I'm saying that is not, yes, protect ourselves. Yes, set boundaries. Yes, follow the law. But I feel like we need them. We actually need them to like wake up, and so there is redemption. People can change. I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying, but we we need to conduct ourselves in a way that is attractive and caring and loving. When somebody is acting out in hate and fear and anger, what I do is I sit back and come into this chakra up here, kind of ground myself, or just become, you could just become more neutral and just observe that person and realize that they're coming from fear and hate, and that they just don't know any better. They haven't, that's the best they can do. And I'm not saying to be a doormat. I'm not saying to let them do that. We have to push back and set boundaries. But as we recognize these people are just so wounded, really, we all are, you know, and that is the beginning of how we start to heal this planet, by recognizing woundedness or fear or anger. A lot of these people have been abused in their own lives. So they've always been poor. They've been angry. And now they're even more poor and more angry. And so it's being used. They're being used. And so I I know that, you know, it's okay if you're angry. And I know that when we are scared and we are hurt, we want to lash out at them, but we actually need them. And there's a break. This is gonna, that's what I want to talk about. Either she's gonna get a pardon. She wants out of there. Lane, she wants out. She wants out. She's taken the blame, and all them others are out there in other countries and wherever, and one sitting in the White House got off scot-free, and she's in there doing time, hard time. Now they may send her money and try to, you know, keep her quiet, and, you know, but one way or another, this is about to break. This is going to break, because she's done with this. This is a person who grew up in a very, she's very scandalous, she's very treacherous, she's very dangerous, but she grew up in wealth. She's not going to sit in a prison. She's not going to just sit there while everybody else goes on with their life and their scams or whatever they're doing. So she knows a lot, and she's protected, and she has information hidden places that if anything happens to her. So she's being protected. So because she's protected, this is either going to go one way or the other. Either, I feel like he gives her a pardon. When he gives her a pardon, his presidency is over. He can't win this. He cannot win this. When he pardons her, that's it for him. The base will see, well, you lied to us. This was, something is wrong. Okay. And the other thing she could do is say, okay, I'll give it up. I'll give everybody up. Just get me out of here. And if you let me out, you know, re-litigate her case, or find, you know, she can become a state witness or whatever, and she can give up the information to reduce her sentence or make it one way or the other. She's gonna get, she's done with it. Okay, that's where this is coming from. I feel like there was a, like, just keep it on the down low, we'll get you out of there as soon as he gets in, that kind of message. And now, like, you've been in there for over 6 months now and nothing's happening, and you pardoned all the Jan 6ers. I want to pardon. Okay, so she wants to get out. Now I'm seeing like she may go to a lesser prison. That's a possibility. With, she gets it lightened, like home confinement, and some, because as soon as she leaves the country, other countries want her for what she did there. Okay, so I mean, she could be extradited, so that could happen. But either way, I saw this. I walked up on a hill the other day, and nature speaks to me, and there were 2 vultures, and they were standing. I don't usually see them. I usually see them in the sky or in a tree or something. But when they come close to me like that, they're telling me something. And there were 2, and they were right in front of me on the ground, looking right at me. I'm like, oh, something's about to end, because the vultures are the bringer of death and change. They're like in the tarot cards, the death card. Maybe the tower card more like the death card. They are protectors. They are they watch over us. They're winged creatures. So angels can, that's my shamanic belief. But they were sitting right there. And then when I looked at Lane, she's showing me two fingers, two fingers. So two vultures, two fingers, one way or the other. She's going to give somebody else up that's going to get her out of there. She's going to give up them, or she's going to get a pardon. She's going to give up him. Either way, he cannot win. And let me just ask, has he realized that this is not going away yet? That this is the end here? One way or another, it's not going to work. Let me ask, does the orange felon know that this is the end of the line? Oh, he's having heart troubles. He doesn't know. He thinks he can get out of this. He still thinks he can buy his way out. He's scared. Right now, he is super stressed. He could be having health issues. He thinks that he can come in here and bully his way out and put this back on, put this, can of worms back in the jar, put this snake back in the hole, whatever. But it's going to be hard work. There's money involved. He thinks he can buy his way out, but he's scared. He's scared because, because he always gets out of stuff. So he thinks somehow he's going to get out of it. But let's look at, will he survive this whole mess? No. No. Probably not. Probably not. No. Okay. So this has been exposed. The money, the people are backing away from him because he's too much of a mess. They don't want to deal with him anymore. He's run roughshod over too many things and destroying the economy and the world economy. He's trying to control everything. So big money is going, some of these billionaires are going like, yeah, you talk too much and you make too much. You put us out in front now. Now all this stuff is out in front. You would have been better off if you just let this guy go and put in some JD Dance or somebody, if they couldn't get him in though. So this is like karmic. This is like divine karma coming for them. And they're not happy. The people with the money are going, uh-oh. So the secrets are going to come out now because that's his energy. The orange felon is the destroyer. He destroys everything. He's actually destroying them by bringing this all out with his stupidity and ignoramus. That's a word I can use. And that's the word my guides gave me. Just like, are you that retarded? But he's like clever, like a gangster, but not very good at planning or maneuvering. He doesn't have stealth. He doesn't have power like that. He's just like, they're like, you're letting us all out. And it was supposed to. It's time. So there's going to be a betrayal. He is gone. He is gone. And this is going to come out. There will still be a spy in the camp. There's still, not everybody is going to be found out. They're going to do everything to keep their predicament safe, their, whatever you want to call it, their continued control somewhere. Some of them can get out and still keep doing what they're doing. Are they sex trafficking, sex abusing in other countries? No, I feel like everybody's scared now because they're like because we're all got our cell phones. We're all over the place every time. There's like, no, that's, I mean, I'm not saying there's no sex abuse happening anywhere, but these big groups that are doing that, yeah, they're afraid now. They're going to get caught. They know it. Okay. But they're doing their wars and they're doing their oil money and destroying the planet and genocide, in Gaza. Yeah, so this is the end for him. It's not going to work. And we don't want a president that's owned, whether it be a Democrat or a Republican. So, yeah, okay. And I feel like that's happened. In some ways, they were controlled by these people, and we don't want that anymore. There's more of us than them. And that's why it's important that we, all band together, the people all band together to stop this kind of things from happening in our world. So I want to look at and Congress will receive files. They're asking for the birthday book. I don't know if that's the files, but they said if they don't get, they agreed to give them the birthday book with information in it. But will they have to subpoena that? Is somebody going to try to come in and kibosh that? Because how much power do these people still have? That's what I want to know. Are they going to, is Congress going to get the birthday book? Huh. Eventually, yeah. Yeah. This was a justice gone wrong. Nothing happening. Hiding, even under other presidents. And a decision being made, and yes, that's a yes. Okay, so we're not quite there yet. That means that whoever these people are getting weaker because if their information comes out. Like, so let's look at that. Is it going to be everybody comes down? Because Lane has that power. You're going to take everybody down, or a lot more people down, or you're going to take down the felon in the White House because when she gets pardoned, people are going to go, uh-oh, he tricked us. This is wrong. People just aren't going to go for that. It's just like, this is a convicted sex trafficker. I mean, it's just, this is already, So, okay, so what was my question? Is everybody gonna get exposed? Yeah, eventually. Yeah, eventually. I don't know when that's gonna happen. This is all gonna start coming out. Okay. And this is the time for truth coming out. This is kind of why because if he wasn't reelected, we would have just gone on and I'm not saying I wanted him to be elected. I voted for Kamala, but that would have just gone on. They would have intimidated her or pressured her, and they have ways of doing things, and it would still be a corrupt government with a good person in there trying to do some things, but not really able to, because that's what the Democrats are. So it is time. I was just listening to Beto O'Rourke, and he's like, let's get this on. Let's fight. Let's gerrymander the Democrat states. Let's do it now. Get it done. Stop waiting for, if they do it, then we're going to do it too. No, get it done. Get it done. We need to push back and push back hard. And people are done with all this. All this being, squeezed, and the economy and healthcare and schools and rent and homelessness and veterans benefits and all this. We're done with all this being taken away from us and our rights to determine what happens with our own bodies. We're done with all this. Okay, so yeah, we need to just go in there. I want to look at Beto's future because I like him. I think he's got something. I think he's running for Senate again. But I also want to look at Gaza. So let's look at Gaza. I hate it's hard for me to see that suffering. I can't watch it on TV. I pray for them. But when will they receive relief? this is this dark evil that I married a Jewish guy. My children are half Jewish. My son and my grandchildren are quarter Jewish. I love Jewish people. I'm not against the Jewish people. It's that government. That government is not for the people of Israel. So just to be clear about that. When will Gaza receive relief? We're pushing hard. Oh my God. Oh my God. It is going to come. It is going to come. There's I think other countries are saying that he's a war criminal. He is. This doesn't tell me when, but it is going to come. But it's probably going to be too late for a lot of people. I mean, it's just pray for those souls. That's just horrific. Hmm. Let me just ask another way that where I can try to get a time frame, because you want relief for everybody, but I mean, will some relief go in July, August, September? Wow, September. A lot of people are going to die. There's a genocide happening right now, and America has been giving money now to bombs to Israel. We need to stop that. And that's partly why Biden wasn't as popular with young people, because they recognize this. Let's ask, when is this country going to stop funding this war? You know, like we're losing our health care, our prices are going up, but we can't afford to help us, but we can give them bombs. What? You know, now the war in Ukraine, we're actually selling them weapons and we're making money. So I don't like any war anywhere, but we need to support Ukraine because they're fighting for democracy. Israel is not fighting for democracy. They're the worst. I don't even have words for how evil they are. And I wish this wasn't happening, but I do know that there is no death, and when those souls die, they're like angels and they will come back and make a better world because of what they experienced, and that nobody is there by mistake, that we all there. I do believe in reincarnation. It was taken out of the Bible. We all come back and we are here to learn. So I'm sorry that suffering has to happen, though. It's wrong, especially with children, and just okay, let's ask. I'm channeling, so I kind of lose track, and it's Mercury retrograde, so I'm kind of like, okay, let's ask. Yes, no, how? Okay, we asked food coming in, looks like September. Hmm. Oh, that's what the question was. When will we stop funding this war? This year? No? Wow. Next year? Yeah. After the midterm? Maybe before. Okay. We have to speak up. We have to call our senators and our congresspersons. Stop funding the war. Stop giving this guy our taxpayer money to bomb the crap out of these people. But it's not saving us from terrorists. That's what they try to scare you. Yeah. If you want to go after terrorists, Obama knew how to do that. You go after the particular, you don't starve a whole nation. That is completely ridiculous and makes no sense at all, and is just evil. And I have to speak out about it. As much as I hate to look at it, it's really hard to look at. We have to look at it. We have to know what's happening, and we need to stand up. Vote, call your congressperson, make a video. We need to talk about what's happening in Gaza and pray for those souls. And some of them are it's just not going to make it. They're just not going to make it. Sorry. Ooh. I can't. Sorry. Okay, let's look at Beto. I'm always so sensitive. I can feel the pain of other people. So part of having a really open heart. Look at Beto. Is Beto going to win Senate? Yes. Oh my God, yes. Look at this guy. Yes, he has the support. He's going to weigh his decision. I think he's going to do it. And when he does, he will win. People just love him. He's a young guy and he's bringing healing. He's compassionate, he's empathetic, but he's also a fighter. So that's really good news. Yeah, we got some good things coming, but we just, we need to just hang tough now. And all right. So I'm going to be doing my members at 12 today, Pacific time. And I will see you there for live readings and healings. Check out my classes. I help people with healing your soul, your spirit, getting your knowing your life path, and your intuition. And so check out my classes. And I am booking for probably late August or September for personal appointments. Maybe middle August, I might be able to. If you've been with me, you've been with me before, and I know you, I could probably get you in. Or people who need a package, if you get a package with me, I can do that. But thank you so much, and I'm sending you so much love. Thank you. Please like, share, and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my video. And thank you to all the new subscribers. I'm so grateful for you. And we will see you soon. Blessings.